The Scandalous Life of John Ehrlichman, 10 Shocking Facts. John Ehrlichman, a top advisor to President Richard Nixon, remains one of the most controversial figures of the Watergate scandal. Known as one of Nixon's Berlin Wall of loyalists, his involvement in the criminal operations and cover-ups surrounding Watergate would lead to one of the most infamous political sagas in American history. Beyond the scandal that brought down a presidency, Ehrlichman's life is filled with fascinating twists, personal struggles, questionable decisions, and even surprising reinvention. This video delves into 10 of the most shocking and revealing facts about the man at the center of the Watergate storm. Fact number 1. A tumultuous start, Ehrlichman's childhood and family life. John Daniel Ehrlichman was born on March 20, 1925, in Tacoma, Washington, to Rudolph Ehrlichman, a businessman and poultry farmer, and Lillian Daniel Ehrlichman, a homemaker. His parents stressed the importance of education and discipline, and these values shaped his early years. When the family moved to Los Angeles, California, Ehrlichman attended Santa Monica High School, where he excelled both academically and in sports. He was a standout swimmer and held regional records, later earning a spot on Stanford University's swim team. However, his education was interrupted by World War II, when he enlisted in the U.S. Army Air Forces. During the war, Ehrlichman served as a B-17 navigator in Europe, flying 28 bombing missions. For his service, he earned the Distinguished Flying Cross and returned home with newfound maturity. After the war, Ehrlichman enrolled at UCLA, graduating in 1948, and then earned a law degree from Stanford Law School in 1951. In 1949, he married Jean Fisher, with whom he had 5 children: Peter, Tom, Jan, Jody, and Muffy. The marriage would endure through political challenges but ended in 1978, following the stress of the Watergate scandal. His children described him as demanding but loving, a father who, despite his ambitions, struggled to maintain close family connections. Number 2. The architect of domestic policy, Ehrlichman's rise to power. John Ehrlichman began his political journey working on Richard Nixon's unsuccessful 1960 presidential campaign, where he first demonstrated his talent for political strategy. However, his influence only truly took shape during Nixon's 1968 campaign, where he helped refine Nixon's image and align the campaign's focus on domestic issues. Upon Nixon's election, Ehrlichman was appointed Domestic Affairs Advisor, becoming one of the president's most trusted aides. Ehrlichman's policy contributions were significant. He pushed for environmental regulations, including the creation of the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, and supported early discussions around national healthcare reform. However, his growing influence within the White House led some insiders to accuse him of fostering a toxic, exclusionary atmosphere. Ehrlichman's authority was so extensive that colleagues jokingly referred to him as a shadow president. His central role in shaping domestic policy reflected both his political acumen and the intense loyalty Nixon demanded from his closest advisors. Number 3. Mastermind of the Plumbers unit. In 1971, the Nixon administration faced growing frustration over the release of sensitive government information, most notably the Pentagon Papers by whistleblower Daniel Ellsberg. To prevent future leaks, Ehrlichman approved the formation of the White House Plumbers, a covert unit led by G. E. Gordon Liddy and E. Howard Hunt. The Plumbers' first mission was to burglarize the office of Ellsberg's psychiatrist in search of compromising information. Ehrlichman later defended the operation as a necessary act of national security, though critics condemned it as a blatant abuse of power. This break-in marked the beginning of a series of covert activities that would culminate in the Watergate scandal. The Plumbers' actions set a precedent for increasingly aggressive operations, further entrenching Ehrlichman and others in an escalating pattern of lawbreaking and cover-ups. Number 4. Ehrlichman's role in the Watergate cover-up. Ehrlichman was one of the principal figures involved in the cover-up of the Watergate break-in, which occurred on June 17, 1972, when 5 men were caught inside the Democratic National Committee headquarters. Ehrlichman, alongside Nixon and other top aides, orchestrated hush money payments to the burglars and ordered the FBI to slow its investigation. His defiant stance during the scandal became infamous. In one memorable exchange, he quipped, "What did we do wrong, other than cover up a crime?" As the investigation deepened, Ehrlichman's role in the obstruction of justice became clear. His involvement would lead to criminal charges, permanently tarnishing his reputation. He remained unapologetic for much of the scandal, believing he had acted in the president's best interest, an attitude that would come to define his legacy. Number 5. The cancer on the presidency. John Dean, Nixon's legal counsel, warned the president in March 1973 that the Watergate cover-up was a cancer on the presidency. Dean's testimony implicated Ehrlichman as a central architect of the operation, detailing how he had managed the payoffs and silenced those involved. This damning phrase symbolized the spreading nature of corruption within the Nixon administration, with Ehrlichman's actions directly threatening the presidency. The revelation of Ehrlichman's involvement brought the Watergate scandal to a boiling point, leading to his resignation from the White House in April 1973. Number 6. Conviction and imprisonment, a public fall from grace. On January 1, 1975, Ehrlichman was convicted of conspiracy, obstruction of justice, and perjury. He was sentenced to 18 months in federal prison, which he served at the Federal Correctional Institution in Safford, Arizona. During his time behind bars, Ehrlichman reflected on his actions and gave interviews in which he acknowledged, "We acted arrogantly, thinking the rules didn't apply to us. We were wrong, both legally and ethically." Prison marked a turning point for Ehrlichman, not only in terms of his personal growth but also in how he began to view Nixon's betrayal. Upon release, he sought to rebuild his life away from politics. Number 7. Post-prison reinvention, a career in writing. After serving his sentence, Ehrlichman sought a new path. He became a writer and public speaker, offering his insights on politics and his experiences during the Nixon administration. His 1976 novel, The Company, was a thinly veiled account of his years in the White House, shedding light on the intrigues and internal conflicts of power. Though the book received mixed reviews, it was praised for its authenticity. In later years, Ehrlichman used public speaking to reflect on the Watergate scandal, often criticizing Nixon's leadership, despite their earlier camaraderie. Number 8. Rumored as Deep Throat. Before Mark Felt, the former FBI Associate Director, was publicly revealed in 2005 as the secret informant known as Deep Throat, many speculated that Ehrlichman could have been the mysterious source. Deep Throat was a key figure in exposing the Watergate scandal by leaking crucial information to Washington Post reporters Bob Woodward and Carl Bernstein in 1972 to 1973. The name Deep Throat was a playful reference to a popular adult film of the era, symbolizing the informant's clandestine nature. The informant guided the reporters to uncover evidence of the Nixon administration's involvement in illegal activities, including the Watergate break-in and subsequent cover-up. Since Ehrlichman had intimate knowledge of these operations and later distanced himself from Nixon, rumors circulated that he might have been Deep Throat, leaking information out of guilt or frustration. However, these theories were dispelled when Felt came forward, finally resolving one of the most enduring mysteries of the scandal. Number 9. Estranged from Nixon, a broken friendship. Ehrlichman's relationship with Nixon deteriorated in the wake of Watergate. Despite years of unwavering loyalty, Nixon distanced himself from his former aide. In interviews, Ehrlichman expressed deep disappointment, lamenting, "It's as if I didn't exist." The betrayal cut deeply, as Ehrlichman had sacrificed his career and reputation to protect Nixon, only to be abandoned when the scandal broke. This sense of estrangement haunted him for the rest of his life. Number 10. Final years and death. In his later years, Ehrlichman retreated to Santa Fe, New Mexico, where he lived quietly, occasionally participating in public debates but largely staying out of the spotlight. He devoted time to reconnecting with his children, having softened in his approach to family life after prison. On February 14, 1999, Ehrlichman died from complications following a stroke. Reflecting on his legacy shortly before his death, he said, "I am at peace with my past, but I am not proud of it." His life remains a cautionary tale of the perils of power, ambition, and loyalty, forever linked with one of the darkest political scandals in American history.